So I can honestly say I'm scared of the unknown. A lot of childcare providers are very scared. The instability is really what is concerning to a lot of us providers. Not knowing is not a good feeling for anyone, especially when it comes to our livelihoods and our lives, right? What are we going to do next?
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Ayan, for sharing. I know sharing those intimate feelings of being scared, of being vulnerable is not easy, so we appreciate it. Welcome to Master and Thrive. This is an early childhood education platform created by providers, for providers, and many more. We don't only want you to survive in your business, we want you to master and thrive in it. So today's conversation is about 2K and universal care. And what is the expansion? What does that mean across New York City? So who is universal childcare really built for, based on the history of 3K and PreK? So before we get started, I would love to introduce ourselves. Co-host Tiffany, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tiffany Diaz, one of your co-hosts here at Master and Thrive. I'm actually a childcare business owner, along with a consultant with over 15 years within the business here in New York City. I have a 3K for All program, a single service program, along with a childcare program here within the city. So, Ayan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I may. My name is Ayan Wilson. I've been a childcare provider for 9 years in the Bronx. I absolutely love what I do. I love serving my community. I love being a mother to my 2 children. Being present in their lives is actually one of the reasons I became a childcare provider, not just to make sure that my children were good and I was able to be present in their daily activities, and also being an employer and everything that comes with it, and wearing so many different hats on a daily basis.
What an honor it is to share a platform with both of you. Thank you for serving the community in the capacity that you do. My name is Millie Carbajal. I am also a childcare provider for 15 years in the Bronx community. I believe my program is most known for extended hours. And a couple of years ago, we partnered with PreK and 3K, the Department of Education. So we have created somewhat of a mini school environment for our community, which we're very proud of. So again, welcome to Master and Thrive. Today, we'll be talking about 2K and the universal expansion of childcare and what that means for New York City providers. Tiffany, why don't you tell us what does that mean? Like, some people hear it and they're like, yay. What does it mean?
So before answering that, let me inform or educate us all in regards to what is universal childcare. Because even myself, I had to go in and research it.
What?
Yeah. So one of the things I'm going to read it for you. Universal childcare means that every family can access affordable, high-quality childcare, no matter how much they earn. Universal childcare also means that it's treated as a public good, like a public school, not a luxury that only some families can afford, which I thought was really important to emphasize in that. Now,
very important.
When it comes to universal childcare and what it means for us, when me, for instance, I have a 3K for All program. Millie, yourself, you have a 3K and PreK. So what it really signifies was having more access, have us being able to help more families, being able to really offer this high quality program, not just downtown, not just in upstate New York, but here within our community for our children. So that's one of the main things that
really
universal childcare.
Yeah, thank you, Tiffany. That's a really great point, that we were able to offer more resources in an underserved community, a community that really needed it. So the benefits of 3K and PreK are extremely evident. So I don't think the question is whether or not we need universal care. I think the question should be, who is it most benefiting?
I love that.
And will we all benefit from these type of programs?
Very good
Because
point.
Ayan, can you share your experience? You're not in 3K, but you still are a provider. You
Absolutely.
stood the test of time of 3K and PreK, which started in 2014.
Yep.
Tell us about your experience during that time.
So being a childcare provider for about 9 years, I've experienced so many different things, right? And part of it was the 2PK and the 3PK and the 4K. As long as you're providing a quality, childcare, and you are teaching the children everything, basically, I'm not affiliated with a network, and I don't have the 3PK program that I'm offering, but everything that comes with teaching the children, I absolutely do. I have a teacher in my roster that I absolutely adore. She is so creative and absolutely the best at coming up with curriculums monthly, weekly, and everything that we need to do. My children, when they start pre-K, know colors, numbers, and everything that comes in between.
That's a great point, Ayan. Thank you. So you are saying that you offer the same high quality education outside of 3K, PreK, which we greatly appreciate. However, at what cost? At what cost? Have you felt the effects of not being able to pay your employees what they deserve? Have you felt the effects of enrollment being a bit lower? Because to be honest, in our nursery, I felt the effect. Normally when we had 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, now our enrollment lessened.
Yes.
It lessened. We're definitely struggling. As we continue to serve the community, we're struggling. I'm personally struggling in the nursery capacity to pay for a livable wage.
With the increasing.
Right.
Increasing,
Right.
yep.
Right. So how has that affected you? Have you felt the effects of 3K, PreK?
We've all felt the effects, right?
Very
and we're
well
still
said.
feeling the effects because it's not just the pre-K that affected us providers. It's also now the new issue with recertification for our parents, right? So there's a lot of things that are involved. But yes, it has affected me. But with everything in life, you have to come up with solutions that may work now in whatever times that you're in. It has affected a lot of providers. A lot of providers had to close their doors. Unfortunately, even and not being able to even join a network or even sometimes
Now-
being in a network.
How about we educate a little bit ourselves and also those viewing in regards to what a network truly is? If you guys don't mind, I'll just
Please
go ahead
do.
and mention. So a network is, another word for it would be an agency, because some of us do know them as using this terminology. It's an agency or a network. It's a program that ultimately, through that particular program, families have to go and apply for their vouchers. These are for families that cannot go independently to, let's say, an HRA office or online to ACS to apply for these vouchers that are needed for child care subsidies to be covered within our programs. Now, not everyone decides to join a network.
Yes.
There's many parameters to joining a network.
Absolutely.
And there's also times that networks are also full. And
Yes.
have wait lists.
Yes.
So that's what a network is. We won't get into all the pros and cons
Yes.
of networks because that's not where we're at right now.
I think that's a different episode.
Oh, that's a completely different episode.
Coming up.
But it is important to just have some basis in regards to what it is. So
Yes.
go ahead.
Where was I?
So I'll piggyback off what you were saying. So it really was intense times when 3K
Yes.
and PreK were rolling out.
It is. It was.
Can we say that group family daycare providers were included in the process?
Oh, no.
No,
Right.
absolutely not.
Right.
And
Are we
those
ever?
who were, we were
Thank
never.
you.
Thank
Ooh.
you for saying that.
Are we ever?
We're never involved. We're not at those tables. We're not invited to those tables. We get the rollout, and then we face the consequences of those rollouts. We are not silly women, right? We're educated.
Very
We've been
much.
business owners for. And between us, about 30-something years and more. So we have the knowledge, we have the capability. We can help you
Help me help you.
before you make those decisions in what would work for
And
the
what
collective
won't.
and what
Right.
won't, which is very
Yes.
important.
Yes.
But we're
Thank you
never
for
at those
sharing.
tables.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. So ultimately, the question would be, who is 2K benefiting? Who is it really built for? So based on what we've spoken about, low enrollments, are they providing in this rollout livable wages? According to the Department of Labor, daycare workers only make approximately $25,000 a year.
Yes.
They fall into the 45 percentile.
Yes.
That is unacceptable. When people who are, and no offense to fast food, retail, are making more money than
Target.
people that educate our children.
Target makes
So
24.
with 2K rolling out, is it, though it's free for parents, we all agree that that's great, that's progress, and parents do need that.
Absolutely.
But are they paying our daycare workers, providers, livable wages?
According to some, we make too much and it's not enough, right? That they, the claim is that when you really break it down, what do we make when it's subsidies? It's
$6.08.
Exactly.
To be exact.
To be exact. So we're not making anything. We sometimes don't pay ourselves. I know I've done that many months.
Absolutely.
So there's times that we're not even including ourselves in the equation of paying or of a staff, right? That our staff make more money than us. And all we're saying is we want to be those employers that pay our staff adequately way above the minimum wage, because what these our assistants do is a lot.
Yeah.
A lot, right?
well
They're
said.
teachers, they're nurses, they're doctors, they're everything you
Therapists,
can
everything
think
under the
for.
sun. Everything under
They
the sun.
are wearing those hats, and so are
You're
we.
absolutely right.
And everything is on us, and we need to be paid accordingly, and not being looked at as.
Babysitters.
All right.
I hate that. Did you
As
ever
a
sit on a
result,
kid?
as a result of non-livable wages, what happens to your team? High turnover,
High turnover, extremely high turnover.
lesser quality in childcare.
Absolutely.
So our children, aren't they deserving of a high quality childcare, as
Absolutely.
all the politicians claim that they deserve? How are they coming up with the true cost of care? Market rate mythology, right?
Yes.
And what is that? Them calling everyone for a survey. That's how they figure it out.
That's not
And that's not fair.
That's not fair at all.
No. And why is that not fair?
Because everybody doesn't have to offer the same programs. What I offer and what I do with the children in my daycare are completely different to even somebody across the street with a daycare would do, right?
Yep.
So we have to have the cost of care have to take into account the true amount of money that would be dedicated to each individual that is employed by you, the resources that you'd be able to provide each child that's enrolled with your program, whether it's food, whether it's the arts that you're doing, the outside activities, the trips that you're going to be making with those children. There's a lot involved. And they can't just put a number and say, oh, this should do. No, you have to be able to speak to us in order for us to give you a number that is reasonable and that is going to be feasible for us to have quality childcare programs.
So those are big major things. Not being able to offer high quality.
Absolutely.
Why? Because we're not able to offer livable wages. And then how are they to determine what budget they're going to give us for 2K if their market rate mythology is flawed?
Absolutely.
Or how about more than that, if they don't speak to us? If they don't
part.
allow us to
it.
have a say.
Bring it. Next
because it goes to the point of exactly what you said, Ayan, that they call us after the fact, or we have to beg and plead to have a seat on the table. We are the table. So why aren't we the ones helping them make these decisions?
Absolutely.
When we're the ones that are sustaining this entire industry.
Absolutely.
So what I noticed during elections, people are really talking about childcare. What are we going to do for childcare and the providers? 2K, we want providers to be involved. But how does that look? How are we going to be compensated for something that we've been doing for decades? Providers been opening their doors to providers for decades. How are we going to be compensated?
Or more so, don't use it as a dangling carrot.
Ooh, carrot.
during election times. No. So
I heard that.
instead of just having these conversations with us when it's convenient for the politicians, I mean, hello, let's make sure that we're constantly in these rooms, constantly having these conversations so that things are rolled out adequately the first time.
Absolutely.
And we're not piggybacking off something that's never worked to begin with.
That part.
Thank you. I want to emphasize, if 2K rolls out as if 3K and PreK did, and statistically, there was 7,745 programs when PreK started in 2014. Oof. Currently, there are 6,500. That is 1,400 loss. That is 140 providers each year closes.
And
can we
centers.
say it's directly correlated to PreK, 3K? No.
No!
However, we have a great idea from our own experience. From your experience, we know that enrollments went lower in our nursery programs and our daycare programs. We felt it. So we're not we're just not saying it just to say it. We say it because we experienced it.
Yes.
We experienced how it felt not to be able to offer our employees livable wages, not to be able to sustain enrollments, not to be able to compete with bigger programs that do acquire these type of contracts. We're supposed to be included.
What about us as well? We don't have retirement plans, most of us. We don't even have
That's a good point. Yes, I am.
health insurance. Right? Do you
Make me drink.
We don't even have that.
Water.
We don't even have that.
Water.
So when these things are being put into place, do you really take us into account? Do you really see what we have versus what we need?
I'm sorry. Can I just answer that? No. No. I mean, it's time and time again, that's exactly
So
what
who
they
is
prove.
2K
Exactly.
Universal Child Care built for? For us?
I don't know.
So at the rate that from 2014 to 2024, 140 per year. If it continues like that for us, that means in 10 years from now,
It will be non-existent.
it would be 5,000.
Yeah.
And then over
Why
those
do you
10
think that's happening? I think it has a lot to do with it not being able to sustain. They have these big ideas that are amazing.
Great point.
Right?
Thank you.
When you're at those tables
you.
and you don't really project what it is that it's going to take, it sounds good. Right?
Thank you. Great
it
point.
Sounds amazing when you're sitting on a table of folks that have never been around children but themselves, right?
Oh.
And you're here making a decision
Sorry.
for
Nice.
us,
Oh.
right? I'm just saying.
Where are they sitting at?
On a table, on top,
On our
Or
table.
under.
No, they're sitting on our table.
that we are supposed to be there as well. And why is that important? How are you going to make a decision based on something you have no knowledge of? You just look at numbers, but we are more than that. We are
nicely
taking
said.
care of children that sometimes have special needs that we have to, and that's another budget amount. They never put that into consideration for us as well. A lot of our children that we care for are special needs, and each one of those children have different types of need that need to be catered to. Some of them may be 101s. Some of them, and it could be behavioral. It could be so many different things, but we are left with that burden. Never them.
Absolutely.
So again, we agree. There should be free universal childcare.
Very well said.
Yes. Parents should receive that. I know many parents that benefit from it. So I completely agree that it is deserved, earned, but at what cost?
Who are the ones that are actually going to be absorbing that cost?
Us.
That unforeseen, untold, unspoken of?
Us.
Exactly. Us.
And we're still going to be maintaining high quality childcare, right? With the margin so tiny that we literally sometimes push through and then not getting paid on time. Let's not forget those.
I think that's another episode. I think
a whole other
that's episode like 5.
So I think
I think
Melody.
so.
But there's so
Yeah, I think
many
that's
different
episode 5.
layers that we need to, so many different things we need to unpack. It's not just one thing, it's not just two things, but the idea is this. When making those decisions, we have to be at those tables.
Right.
So we could tell you what would work.
Exactly.
So Ayan, tell me what
done.
tables?
These politicians that are making these 2 PK.
Exactly. Exactly. So the mayor's office is the one who prioritizes what's most important. They do not determine the budget, right?
Very well said. Thank you for that explanation.
Yeah,
Lily.
ACS DOE mandates us and they issue the vouchers, right? Who determines the budget?
Governor.
The Department of Budgets, actually. They determine the budget.
They determine.
What do
yes.
they know about what we go through if they cannot hear us?
They didn't speak to us. So how would they know?
So who should we go to? And you play a major part in that because you're part of a party in the Bronx.
I'm part of a club, yes. And we're very active politically. But the thing is that one person can't do it all, right?
Very well said.
And what we have to do in our industry, it's not really something that the club caters to. Of course, I play an important role, and I am part of, having a conversation about it, right? As far as our industry. But when these conversations are being had, whether it's the governor or whatever, what we need to have is hear us out. And so we could tell you what it is that is not working. Forget about what's going to be working. What's not working and what we see in the future should be working. If you're already anticipating on changing something, this is where we see it going. And this is where it would benefit us. It would benefit us more.
So for those who do not know how to find their council person, right?
Or assemblyman.
Right. How can they?
So the first thing you do is Google.
Google
is your best friend.
Or you can
Chat
actually
GPT.
reach out to us, right?
Yes, we
can
can do
And
that.
if you don't know what to say, if you feel nervous, call us. Call us.
Absolutely.
Instagram us. Leave a comment.
We can actually make sure that we have a list in regards to a script that you can actually utilize to reach out to these assemblymen, to these councilmen, councilwomen. Because if we don't reach out to these policy makers and policy influencers, then how are they supposed to know? How are they supposed to advocate for us if we're not advocating for ourselves?
Nice.
How?
And
So
another
that's something
thing
we can
is-
definitely make sure that we get to our viewers so that this way they know how to and also how to search them up.
Yes.
You can go to their offices too. My
Yeah.
assemblywoman
Yeah.
is on my phone.
Yes.
Very
I can
nice.
call her right now.
Yes.
Very nice.
So providers should have that power. You should understand how 2K universal care is going to affect you. You should understand which politicians in your community are going to help you. You should understand how you should master and thrive in your program and not just survive.
And what those politicians, each of them, whether it's councilman, assemblywoman, each of them have something that they are passionate about, right? So for us in the Bronx, for example, the person who, most of them are mothers and fathers, but you have to look at what they're passionate about and then reach out to those, even if they're not in your district. They don't have to necessarily be in your district. Understand something. Once you have a conversation with one, it leads to another,
Yes.
and
Very
another,
good point.
and another.
Yeah.
Open that dialogue. Go to their offices. Get
Work together.
Work together.
Get other providers. One person,
Yes.
okay, they might hear you. 15 people.
Oh, they're gonna start
60
listening.
people.
Yes.
And in the Bronx, in our community, we have the most providers. We have the most providers. And throughout New York City. Like, we are the foundation of the workforce. People can go to work.
of us.
Comment on this page or leave a 1 if you had your children in a group family daycare in a home setting and how beneficial it was. Like, we can't afford for these type of programs to close. They're so beneficial to children. I really didn't hit on it, but I read an article and they mentioned if the expansion rolls out too quickly, it's a stressor on the children. Why? Because they're not adequately staffed. Why? Because they're not paying livable wages.
That part.
that rolling it out too fast. They're not being properly trained. The ratio to student is not up to par. High quality really means having extra hands in there, right? That
point.
intimate one-on-one, the intimacy we're able to offer in our intimate programs. But I read an article that children, if this expands out too quickly without proper preparation in programs, trainings, it can be a stressor on children, which will delay their
parents.
development.
And parents.
And the workforce, our
that
workforce.
too, our workforce.
And now that you're mentioning that, I'm going to sway into the little bit of information that they have actually disclosed about this 2K. Right now, this hasn't rolled out yet, though. There's only a pilot program, which is only available in certain districts or zip codes in certain boroughs.
Okay.
So it's still not fully rolled out. So they're trying something with, once again, not including us in the conversation, with something that's going to directly affect us.
I'm shocked.
Now, I know, right? Shocker. Shocker. So with that being said, one of the things that they are stating, okay, that it's out there, we can put it on Instagram for all of you to see and research, is that their intent thus far is for it not to be in these larger DOE schools. Because 2-year-olds are not meant to be in a big
in
building.
school right now. No.
Or little babies.
Exactly. Exactly. Hi, everyone. I'm Tiffany, one of your co-hosts from Master and Thrive. And since we recorded our episode in regards to the 2K initiative, the mayor's office had a release that we had to make sure we shared with everyone. So here we go. Since the New York City announced the launch of Birth to 2 initiative, a free childcare pilot for children under the age of 2, regardless of the family's income or immigration status. This pilot will offer approximately 200 childcare slots in neighborhoods with the greatest economic needs, prioritizing areas such as the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Queens, but not Staten Island. So families are actually going to be able to apply through their respective boroughs, and we'll continue to share details for parents in regards to this information. But I want to shift what this press release from the mayor's office and directly from the mayor actually meant for us, childcare providers on the ground. So, for us, this 2K RFI, once again, I'm going to mention RFI, and the broader direction it seems that the city is heading, left a lot of us hopeful, but also a little confused. So we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive and point out 5 different points from this. Now, I want to make sure that I also ground us on what this means for us first. So RFI, not to be confused with the terminology that we're all so familiar to hearing, like RFP, during those days of 3K and PreK initiative, is very different. All right. RFI is request for information, where RFP was the request for proposal. And RFI is where they'll be able to gather information from this actual document that we'll be filling out. Now, continuing to the next point. Secondly, eligibility is targeted, not universal. So that means we're not yet at that universal childcare aspect of it. This RFI is seeking responses from specific provider types, including certain programs that are expanding into 2K, such as centers, along with organizations that can operate family childcare networks. In simple terms, an independent provider would have to be part of a network in order to apply, but they're allowing organizations that can operate family childcare networks. And licensed providers in home-based settings can apply to these networks to be able to offer these services. So that means that independent providers will not, at this moment, as per this RFI information that was released, cannot individually qualify, but under a network, that's where they're going with it, as per this document. Now, third, this RFI gives highlight and insight to what it seems that the city is valuing, and that is program readiness. Not ideas, not visions, but licensing, compliance, staffing capacities, and operational systems. In simple terms, do you already have a license? Because those are one of the questions that they ask. Have you had any violations? And if you have, how have you remedied them? Just to give you a bit of insight. Now, fourth, geography matters. The city is mapping unmet needs by districts and neighborhoods. Now, we don't yet have that information because it has not been released, what districts or neighborhoods are going to, or zip codes, I should say, as well, are going to be selected, but they will be the priority. Very, very similar to those 3K days. Now, 5. While this RFI does not mean it's offering contracts or proposals, it clearly signals the types of service models that the city is planning around, including 180-day programs, as well as 260-day programs with extended day model. That tells us providers something very important. This work is intended to be sustained, not temporary. And this is where I want to actually zoom out and look at it from a larger lens. All this actually points out to the fact that childcare providers need to be included directly in these conversations, not just as operators, but as partners. The people doing this work day in and day out, every day, we understand what families need, what staff can realistically support, and what it takes to keep this workforce going. If we want early childhood systems to truly work and flourish, that means working directly with providers on the ground as policies and initiatives take shape, not after the fact. That's how systems move. That's how they go from surviving to actually working. And that's how we master and thrive.
Now I would like to introduce the Did You Know segment. So this segment is really important because it's going to highlight regulations that you should be practicing in your program. But in this segment, we're going to do it a little bit different. So a lot of people have been contacting us and asking why has no one spoken about the Minnesota fraud situation. But I think I'm going to hand this one over to Ayan because I think it's a bit more sensitive and personal for you. Mm-hmm. So can you please share your take on it?
So as a childcare provider who just so happened to be Somali, I am a little more sensitive to it than others because I think it's highlighted only because of them being from a different country, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't even necessarily have to be Somalia. It's anyone at this point who is different, who's immigrated and had the audacity to own a business and to make something of themselves in this country is being targeted, right? So my issue with it is really, it doesn't even matter if they've done it or not, right? It's the fact that we are playing jury, police, executioner, and whatever else you could think of before we even have all the facts.
Correct.
We're just hearing about certain things right now. I don't know what exactly took place. And I know a lot of people don't, but the speculations are there. Now, and we're already feeling the effects of what it's happening in Minnesota. Of
course, it's trickled down.
Yeah, with the freeze that's looming over our heads that the state is fighting over. So a lot of things is happening just because of those people who made that, whatever it is that they've done. Hold them folks accountable if that's what you need to do. But what did we do?
To attack a whole community,
a whole community,
culture,
a whole industry,
yes.
a whole industry and a whole community. All of us didn't do whatever it is that they're being accused of. And honest to God, it doesn't even, are they the only people on earth or in this country to have bent the rules or broken them? Absolutely not. Why are they being held to a different standard, right? And the person who my understanding is the head of all of this, don't look like cousin
Don't look like
She doesn't look like Cuzzo to me.
She's not a cousin of Ayan.
No, she don't.
No.
So the thing is, if you're going to hold people accountable and, talk about certain things, then make sure you talk about the whole thing. And don't hold every single one of us accountable for something that only a few have done. Another thing is this, what is the word? Leering childcare or whatever it is called. Understand something. Childcare providers, and let me just talk about Somalis. Somalis speak a minimum of 7 languages to 4 languages, a minimum of 4 languages. So if they spelled the word wrong, it is what it is.
Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts on it. And I'm sorry that you're feeling attacked under with your culture and stuff. I can imagine that's intense feelings. But thank you for sharing. So in this segment, did you know, we definitely wanted to discuss that. And thank you for sharing. As of now, no one has been arrested. No one has been found guilty
of anything.
Yes. In this instance. But we do look forward to the story unfolding and not really focusing that the people are from Somali, but just that it's an unfortunate situation occurring in our industry. And maybe next time we'll talk about how it's affecting our industry.
Yes.
as a whole,
As a whole.
how it's now trickling down to even us here in New York City.
Not a trickle anymore.
It's a flood.
It's a flood.
The floodgates have opened.
The floodgates have opened. Well, we look forward to having you in our next segment. I hope you enjoyed Did You Know segment, sponsored by Scholars Path. So we just really want to recap, who is 2K really built for? The parents, yes, are deserving. Will it benefit providers? If it offers them livable wages, if it allows them to receive the proper training, and if their market rate methodology is adjusted accordingly. So there's many factors. And providers, if you become aware of what they are and reach out to your community, your assembly person, and contact us, we'll be more than happy to help you. Again, we're here with Tiffany Diaz, Ayan Wilson, and Millie Carbajal. And this was Master and Thrive.